have a take that's an unpopular opinion, particularly for a certain part of the country. But something that annoyed me about living in the South is them always centering their way of doing things and not seeing the white supremacy in it. If you look up the tenets of white supremacy, one of them is that there is only one right way to do something. And out of living in the Midwest, the East Coast, the South, and now on the West Coast, the South is the only place I've lived where they would constantly rag on you for not doing stuff the way they did it. And I assimilated. I started talking to random people. I started trying to do as much as I could, but I had never experienced that in any other place that I've lived. Yes, people will complain about transplants in different places, but they're never going to judge you and think you are less than because you grew up differently than they did. Like, yeah, they will, depending on, your accent and stuff like that, but the way that it manifests in the South is just different. It's not just about making fun. It's about the core of thinking the values that you possess are not as good as their values. I saw a TikTok earlier where the guy was talking about calling you sir or ma'am is not about you. And people from the South or people who use that terminology will just see that on the surface and find nothing wrong with what he said. But the fact that you're telling another human being that how you're communicating with them is not about them, when like human connection and communication should be about the other person, like that don't make no sense. And it's not that I don't understand, it's that if you are talking to another human being and you're like, well, I just imagine my mama coming up and smacking me in the back of the head, it's just like, okay, but if the person in front of you is asking you to treat them, is teaching you how to treat them and asking you to treat them a kind of way, and the idea of this invisible person that is not actually in the vicinity of their judgment, even though it's your mama, their judgment is more important than the person standing in front of you that you are trying to respect, but you're actually doing the antithesis of that because that's not how they view respect. For example, when I worked in Louisiana, I had an older coworker. She was from Louisiana. She grew up in the tradition, but she did not like being called Miss whatever. Let's call her Miss Mary. She did not like being called Miss Mary. And other coworkers' response to that, whether they were her age or younger, I was raised right, so I'ma still call you Miss Mary. My mama, my grandma would not like it if I was not calling you Miss Mary. So you gonna sit in front of this lady who is your coworker and tell her, I understand how you feel about how you receive something, but I'ma just default to the person who's not here and disrespect you, because that's what it is. Like, I understand that that's how you were raised, but it's still disrespect if that's not how the person in front of you receives respect, particularly if it's an elder. So you would rather disrespect the elder sitting in front of your face for the elder that would never know unless you told them that you didn't do the thing from how you was raised. And then you don't see how that aligns with white supremacy and what white people do at all. You don't see no similarities.